It's Trends O'Clock. This is Trends KE with KK Cedrick.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Trends KE. My name is KK Cedrick, and this is the alternative voice. Thank you very much for tuning in to our discussion tonight. And as you can see, we have several guests on the show, and we are going to get right into this discussion that we have planned out for you tonight. What are we talking about? We are talking about the way forward. As you all know, we just concluded an election, and in that election, there were cases at the Supreme Court. Then the Supreme Court made their ruling, and we had the president of Kenya being sworn in. And tonight, all of you have seen Mandela here on the show. He seems to be a happy man. He will be telling us why he's a happy man this night. Also on the show, we are having for the first time Evans Oduor, who is also a lawyer. Thank you very much, Evans, for making time for this discussion. And we also having Honorable CATE Mashame, all the way from Taita Taveta County. Mheshimiwa, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
So Mandela, as you help introduce our guest, because you are the one who has been here several times, the first question I'll ask you, do you think the Supreme Court ruling, in as much as we are trying to move away from what has been the divisive politics we have had for very many months, do you think the ruling was fair?
Sorry, Cedrick, we can hardly hear you. I don't know if we can hardly hear you. I don't know if it's.
I think. Can you hear me now, Mandela?
Sorry, Cedrick.
Yes.
We can hardly hear you. I don't know if the problem is only on my side.
Yeah, Cedrick is
I don't know if the
enough.
rest can be able to hear him clearly. From my end, you are cutting a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think you can try to work on your volume, sababu nani ananisikia vizuri. I'll take you that question to you as
unakatika katika.
Okay.
It's very uncomfortable, but I think I also understand when someone else is talking, it would be better if we all switch off our mics, so that when it's your turn now, yeah, it will be easier that way.
Okay. So I'll bring that question to you, Wakili Evans Oduor. In your own words, do you think the Supreme Court ruling was fair enough?
thank you very much, Cedrick. Fair. The term fair for an advocate or a lawyer that I am is quite relative depending on whom the word is used for or against.
Yeah.
In my view, or where I sit, it was so funny because the firm I work with, we got the opportunity to represent one of the parties at the Apex Court. My heart and emotions, for that matter, you know where it is. Fortunately or unfortunately, my fee would come from someone from whom my heart is opposed to. And fairness, when it comes to an advocate, it depends how fair it is, depending on which side you are.
Yes.
Insofar as my heart is concerned, my conscience is concerned, it wasn't. But as far as my fee is concerned, wow, that was the fairest of the rulings ever. So yes, it's relative. It's relative depending on who stands where, because
Yes.
I know for a fact that anybody who is a supporter and a proponent of Azimio would say that it was very unfair. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
We
we can hear you clearly, and you're saying that as far as your pocket was concerned, there was all fairness.
Yes.
And
But as
let
far
me
as
bring
my
you-
conscience, and from the objective part of it,
yes,
this is what we had moved away from. And it's like that. It's like we are getting backwards 10 years. We are getting backwards 10 years, because this issue of issuing or giving a unanimous decision, if they singled out like 9 issues and both parties, each and every party presented their case, there was no way on earth or in the legal means. That's why we can never agree with Mandela when it comes to issues legal or everything. And that's how some of us used to fail even in law school, because we could have a different opinion with our lecturers, which is supposed to be allowed. It can never be like 3 ladies, distinguished ladies, sitting somewhere in a courtroom listening to counsels of stature of Orengo and everyone else who was there, and coming up with a unanimous decision.
Yes.
And this is something that I spoke somewhere. I said, secondly, there wasn't a language of the court wasn't used at all. It was, at some point, I thought that was an affidavit, a replying affidavit sworn by Gachagua in some political rally somewhere. I wasn't sure whether those were the wordings which were read by our CJ. To be honest, no.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mandela, I don't know if you can hear me now, Mandela. Mandela, can you hear me?
Yes, Cedrick.
Okay. So I'll bring you into the discussion before I welcome Mheshimiwa here. And we lost you again, Mandela, just for a bit. I am Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
You're there. Okay. Mandela, we seem to be having a problem with Mandela's connection. I'll just bring him back in. But Mheshimiwa, there are people who got into this competition as candidates who are running for various positions, and you are one of them from Taita Taveta. Then there are the supporters who are supporting their candidates in various positions, and eventually their presidential candidate. And those people who their candidates lost, and let's say, for example, the candidates themselves, those who might have lost as well, people are going through a lot politically. Tuliambiwa tusiweke kwa roho, lakini kuna watu waliweka kwa roho, kwa maini na kila mahali. How are they supposed to get through this?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Cedrick, for having me on this conversation. Hi, Nelson. Hi, Evans. It's nice seeing you here. My name is CATE MASHAME, Taita Taveta County. Nilikuwa nimesimama kiti. I was vying for woman representative, county woman representative position. And mimi nilikuwa mtu wa Azimio damu. In fact, my ticket was ODM. Actually, the first time I met Cedrick, I think we met at the NEB offices. That's where we met. And I thank you for, assisting me wakati nilikuwa najaribu ku apply a few things. So, mimi kama mkereketwa mkubwa, na kwa sababu natoka Pwani, mtaniruhusu niongee Kiswahili ama Kitaita. Bwana, it has not been easy. It has not been easy because mtu akiingia kwa match, you all expect, you all pray that mtu wako ashinde kiti. So for me, it's a double loss. One, because my president is Raila Amolo Odinga. I campaigned for Raila Amolo Odinga day and night. Unajua, mimi, in fact, at some point, people were, okay, in Coast Region, for some reason, I was one of the youngest. Actually, I was the youngest mwenye anavai kwa hii top brass position, you know, Senate, Women Rep, and Governor. So watu walikuwa wananiita last born wa Azimio. So you can see there's an attachment pale. Now, when it comes to campaign, watu walikuwa wanasema huyu ni yule demutuma salamu na Raila. You know, all the time I was like Raila. So yeah, it's so for us to, you know, kusikia kitu mambo ya Chebukati venye walitangaza vitu zao, you know, right now bado tuko kwa denial stage. We are like, vitu za Chebukati, vitu za watu wa ruling, but I can tell you it's not easy. Actually, watu wako very depressed. Nikiangalia, most of my friends, of course, walikuwa ni watu wako Azimio. Ukiingia everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, watu hawako vizuri. People are very frustrated. People are depressed. They feel like it's the end for them. Kuna yule mwanasiasa alisema tuseke kwa roho, lakini wewe kama ni supporter wa Raila, unajua hiyo kitu hata utakaki kuweka kwa Raila anaingiaga tu automatically. So I mean, tuingesikia ile advice ya useke kwa roho, but for some reason hii point bwana iliingia kwa roho, hii campaign iliingia kwa roho. So sisi kama watu wa Azimio, it's not a very beautiful season for us. And yeah, so your question was how. I think the how depends a lot of us, a lot of, you know, wewe unasimamia upande gani? Unajua kuna watu walikuwa ni supporters, kuna watu walikuwa ni campaigners, kuna wengine walikuwa ni wafadhili, you know, there are people who sponsored campaigns. So the how really depends with the intensity, ama uliingia kwa maji design gani. Unajua ukienda pale kuogelea kwa swimming pool, kuna shallow ends na kuna deep ends. Kwa watu wa shallow ends, it's easy, wao wanaweza pokea ile ushauri ya usiweke kwa roho, like breathe in and out and it's there. Lakini sisi tulikuwa kwa deep ends. I think it will take us some time. Now, the first step, because I know conversation inaendelea, the first step is to mourn, you know, like ni kama umefiliwa na mtu, usiambie tu, oh, you see, it happens, all things happen together for good. No, let me tell you, it is not happening for good, and it's okay. Deny kabisa and cry. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to slap people, slap.
Kama ni kulia, lia.
Wewe lia bwana. Kama wewe hii kitu ulia, if you feel like juzi we were somewhere with my friends, na tukaambia mtu wa hiyo premise, can we tunaweza ikiwa zile nyimbo za rero ni rero, we just scream, we didn't want to dance, we wanted to scream. Wakati pale unaona there's this song ya Azimio inasemaga DJ acha mchanganyiko, you know, we wanted to hear that part over and over again and scream and say like, yo, inawezekana, but iliwezekana differently. Yeah, so I think for the question of how depends with the individual and how deep you went it. But the first step, because conversation ndio imeanza bwana, kama unataka kulia, lia. Mtu auda akikujia vibaya, ukisikia kumtukana, tukana yeye.
No. Oh no, that won't resonate well with my learned friend here, Mr. Mandela. I don't know if you are still having a problem with the connection, Mandela. Mandela, can you hear me? Okay. I'll come back to you, Evans, as we try and see if Mandela will work on his connection.
Yeah, Cedrick, hapo kwa kutukana, yani, in short, there's no one shoe size that fits all of us.
Yes.
Wewe do what unafeel kufanya nini sahi. Don't harm anyone, but wewe kama unataka kuscream, mtu akikutukana, ukiamua kutukana back, I'm here to tell you, do that. Do you at this point? Ni first stage, lakini weka ya amani.
Thank you. Evans, I'll bring to you this question now. from where you are standing, Kenyans already made their decision, and William Ruto is now the president of the Republic of Kenya. From the past, it has been 2 days. Do you think that with the rates that he has started, he is ready for the task? And putting in mind that right now people are on his neck, fuel prices, there were some diplomatic issues that also came up from recognizing a certain nation and also denouncing the same within 24 hours. Then Kenyans are also having an issue with their deputy president. Do you think the duo are up to task from where you're seated?
Very well, thank you. And when you talk about the people have decided,
Yes.
the people of the Republic of Kenya have decided, I do not know to what extent the people count, but from where I sit,
Yes.
of course, the people decided in terms of the representation that was at the Supreme Court, because all power belongs to people, and they can either exercise that power directly or indirectly through these special offices, for example, courts. Then I don't know whether I will be out of topic, but then I want to just bring to attention of the Kenyans and the people who are watching this.
Yes. Evans, did we lose you again? Mandela. Mandela, can you hear me, Mandela? Wakil? Mandela, can you hear me? I think we lost.
Yes, I can hear you,
Evans.
Cedrick.
Okay. So before Evans continues with what he was saying, I'll take you back to the first question that I had asked you, Mandela, and at the Supreme Court, you were told that everything presented was a lot of things, including hot air, wild goose chase, and so forth and so on. Do you think that the Supreme Court made the best judgment as per the decision of Kenyans? And then following that, you lost answer a question that I have just asked Evans, and we have lost him. Do you think the duo of Gachagua and the President William Ruto are up to task from what they have done in the first few days?
Yes, thank you so much, Cedrick, for having me. And sorry for my weak internet. Now you understand why I always do my webinars from the office. I'm in the house and I'm struggling to follow and also be able to address you. I hope you can hear me now. Mheshimiwa, I'm happy to see you. Welcome to this platform where we always offer an alternative voice. Now, if I may proceed to your question as to whether Ruto and Gachagua are up to the task, I can tell you with certainty, Ruto is a man who is known. I may not know much about Gachagua, despite the fact that we're told he's been in the public service for quite some time. I have not much to say about him. But when it comes to William Ruto, and the little I've gathered about him and the little I've known and the experience I've had with him since 2007, that is when at least I had some knowledge about politics during the Pentagon. He was a very strong member in Pentagon, and Jubilee formation in 2013 and Jubilee Party formation and coalition in 2017. The William Ruto I've seen for those 3 subsequent elections, he's a man up to the task. You may remember we voted in Uhuru Kenyatta, as clueless as he was. Uhuru Kenyatta had no experience in public service, despite the fact that Moi had nominated him as a member of parliament. For William Ruto, he was never nominated since.
Yes, Mandela. We seem to have lost you again, Mandela. Your connection is just lost you
twice,
there.
And then elected as a deputy president in Kenya in 2013 and 2017. Now elected. There is something special that electorates are seeing in him.
Yes. Thank you, Mandela. Although we have lost you for
Can
some
you hear
minutes.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Thank you. I think we are having an issue with your connection. But we have had part of your comments, and I'll circle back to that. But let me bring in Mheshimiwa. Also, I see if Evans is back so that I can add him. Mheshimiwa, there is an issue with Kenyans mostly focusing on the presidential election, and then they forget that there are other aspects of governance that are as equally or even more important to them, like the leadership at the constituency, county level, their governors, their members of county assembly. What is your take on the whole issue of Kenyans placing all their trust and expectations at the central government and just excluding or totally forgetting about the county governance, which is as important as the presidency is?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Cedrick. I think Kenyans are not placing their expectations or a lot of importance to presidential elections only, because I can tell you this time round, people were very involved in these campaigns. I can tell you in our county, we had around 17 people vying for governorship position. We had around 10 people, wanting the senator's position. We were 8 in the woman rep position, and even MPs also. We had so many people, and MCAs. We had a lot of people getting into the ring, and especially the young people, which is very encouraging. And I think it's also fair if if Kenyans choose to focus also on the presidential, because president ndo kusema. President akisema leo watu watoke WhatsApp, watoke Facebook, itakuwa ni hivyo. So there are very important decisions that are made at the presidential level. But again, even at the county level, the positions are equally important. Since the inception of devolution, wakati katiba mpya imeingia ya 2010, tuliona kwamba, I come from Taita Taveta County, and for a long time we were among the counties wenye tulikuwa tunalalamikia kwamba maendeleo we were, I don't know if it's still the right word to say, we were called marginalized, we were marginalized because we are not very many in numbers. So maendeleo mengi yalikuwa hayafiki wa Taita na Wataveta. Sasa wakati katiba mpya imeingia 2010, tukaona importance ya devolution. So this is the third time, kulikuwa na 2013, 2017, alafu 2022. So this is the third season ya devolution. Now, it's only fair to say that people have realized the importance of devolution, and that's why I think, according to my own analysis, people are also concentrating on working for their counties, and to see that maendeleo imeletwa mashinani. So it's important for Kenyans to know that zile sheria zinatungwa na wale wajumbe wenu mmetuma at the county level, say to the National Assembly, they will affect they might affect the whole country, but they will also affect the county in the equal measure. So positions like affirmative action is a woman representative. Zimekuja na watu wana realize, okay, kumbe hata mimi naweza ingia kwa ring. And yeah, but like you've said, Wakenya wamefocus na presidential because there are so many decisions that are made at that level.
Yeah.
That will even affect itakuwa na trickle effect paka hapa chini mashinani kwa mama mboga, Hustler Nation wanasema. Yeah, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you. And Evans, you're back. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. And I had asked you a question, if you can just expound on that. And the part that I hadn't heard you answer is whether the duo is up to task, especially from the first few days, it's not even a week, the first few days of the president in office. Do you think from the decisions that he has made, he's up to task?
Depends. I can't really say that for real they are not up to task. In several occasions, in every decision that you make, some can be seen as drastic and probably uncalled for, but some are justifiable, even though drastic. Like in terms of appointment of the 6 judges, that was spectacular. That was so nice of him, because these judges, if at all the NIS had directed our former president Uhuru that they were unsuitable to hold the office of the court, the appellate judges, then there was nothing that they were doing absolutely, even at the High Court, because the integrity issue, if it touches on you in particular, the chapter 6, it doesn't have to be for somebody who is at the Court of Appeal or at the Supreme Court or something like such. So that was very amazing. Then when it comes to decisions on our diplomatic relations with states recognizing or denouncing, which I don't think a president who is 2 days old in the office has the right capacity to decide whether to probably admit Somaliland as a state or not. There are so many things which are supposed to be looked into. Plus, if it was Raila who was doing that, or Wajakoya, if the RAS made it to be the president, it would be something different. This guy used to sit in the former regime at the highest level of the decision makings. What happened? What changed? Was he just dreaming that when will this bone drop so that I pick it from where it is? No. So when they were with Uhuru, were these decisions made in his absentia? Was the cabinet not made of him and the rest? We are so much aware that there are so many people, including diplomatic persons, the consular persons, and so on and so forth. I do not want to get political with this, but even a member of our president's family is one of the envoys in a certain state.
Yeah.
What does this mean? It means that there is a lot, there was some hand in deciding on the authority of making a decision of recognition of these states, sending ambassadors there, and because if that is not the position, then I don't know why within just 2 days now you can say that now I will decide. Plus, I have noticed when it comes to issues of diplomatic relations, it depends on who has interest in which state. That's why we have civil war in DRC Congo. Is America concerned? Why was America up there loud telling people her people to avoid Kisumu? What did they know about it? about the judgment that we are all eagerly waiting for.
Yeah.
This issue about diplomatic relations is about individual businesses and individual interests in which states, at what time, or at what point. So whether he decides he is our representative, he is the voice of Kenyans, whether Kenya recognizes certain states as sovereign and whether it denounces, he's doing that, but is that what Kenyans want as of now? And just the same way I said that in appointing the judges who are well done by a long time ago by JSC was so good. I believe that this is a hustler's president, Mutoto wa Maskini, as he so refers to himself.
Chicken
But the
seller.
judges are already dynasties. They're having their salaries at the High Court. What happened of the 70 shillings unga? No, there are certain drastic decisions which were good.
I think that
Okay,
that is
thank
the
you,
best
Mandela,
for me to
Mandela,
join.
you have a response. You have a response, and even as you respond to that, kindly help
Yes.
me answer this question. There is a cake which is the national government, and we are having very many people that Honorable Ruto, the president, pulled over to his side, including Mudavadi, the likes of Mutua. There are so many people. Do you think that there is space within the constitution, in the government, for all those people? Okay,
Now,
you can respond as you answer that.
it's quite unfortunate that over 10 years since inception of devolution, still struggling and scrambling to have our cake at the national level. It is not fair. What was the essence of devolution then if we are all focusing at home? Is the truth, Cedrick?
Yes.
The reason why we have county assemblies is because they are supposed to legislate. Governors receive money from the national government for development at the county level. You see, for some of us who've not been in government for quite a number of years, we have no project from the national government. If not for the devolved function of the county government, some counties would have roads. We wouldn't.
Yeah.
So it is not fair, and it's not. We are not doing justice to ourselves, talking about who has become the president and what they are going to do for the country. When we have the right, we had the right opportunity to choose the best MCA for him or her to start development from the bottom level. We are talking. We have county roads. We have national government roads. So before you come and demand from the national government a road, are all the county roads in the counties done? And if not, if you can be able to access that MCA, that member of parliament, that governor, has not been able to tarmac that road or even grade that particular road, which is a county road, then what are you telling us about the national government that not delivering?
Yeah.
We are expecting too much from where we shouldn't be expecting. And therefore, if we talk about William Ruto and the Gachagua government delivering or not, first, and that's what I've always said, the directly as compared to the person you elect as a president. I don't know what the obsession is. Yes, happy, and you, as you may know, I was one of the loudest member of the Hustler Nation movement. But after winning, we have to pick it up from there and move on. But it all trickles down to who is MCA, who is parliament, because they have to legislate. Yeah, and I always tell people in my constituency, in my ward, the difference between a town in central Kenya, a market in central Kenya that has lighting, those street lights and floodlights, and a market in Viga that has no light or vibandas is a legislation at the county level. So if you choose an incompetent MCA, then you'll not blame the president, but blame yourself. So to the question you had asked, I don't know if you had heard me properly. I said, when it comes to the combination of Gachagua and William Ruto, we trust in them. These are established public servants, having served very many years. William Ruto has been a member of parliament, elected since 1997. He's never lost an election. In 2013, Kenyans saw something in him and elected that you have doubts as to whether William Ruto will perform. And you forget that Uhuru Kenyatta was picked from a den somewhere by Moi, appointed to replace Mark Twain in the National Assembly, and ultimately became a president, and he had no clue. And remember, when Evans is talking about international relations and who you can attract and the investors, remember in 2013, people voted for ICC suspects, murder suspects. And can we say that the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta's government, had some strained relations with the international community? You can see the US is here, China is here, the UK was here. We have loans from IMF, we have loans from the World Bank. So it is about the interest, not personalities. But even if you talk about personalities, William Ruto is a reputable man. Save for the campaign slogans and the maddening that he's a thief and corrupt, it is not true. So we have a government in place at the moment, and they were just sworn in on Tuesday this week. They said properly, in 100 days, it is not fair to start, getting them and measuring them after they were just elected, sworn in this week. And if you're talking about the fuel subsidy and the fuel crisis, why are we forgetting about the judges that were nominated? Why are we forgetting about the reversion of the port operations at Mombasa? And we are only talking about oil crisis only because people are not saying the truth. People are only saying that fuel prices have gone up, but are they telling us the reason? Here is the reason, Cedrick. Every month, we've been using close to 6.85 billion on oil subsidy. For how long do you think this process will have been sustainable? So we need to, first of all, establish where the rain started beating us. Who are these suppliers that were withdrawn from the market to the extent that you have oil shortage? And why is it that it's only in Kenya that we're having this issue? Or is it worldwide? If it's worldwide, then we can understand. But if it's only, and then we have to question these rubies. Because if you drive, Cedrick, from Nairobi towards Eldoret, after every 5 kilometers, there is a Rubis petrol station. You are telling us there is oil shortage, but you have this band of petrol stations coming up. Who owns them? Who are these particular individuals enjoying the monopoly? When you talk about Kenya Power and tokens, who are these people owning the Kenya Power? Who are the shareholders? Who are these people creating monopoly? And tell me about Ndindinyora, because I'm seeing Evans Oduor smiling. So we have to ask very hard questions, but it's quite unfair that my colleagues here can be judging the Ruto Rigathi government in 2 days. First, you have to identify where the problem is, and we all agree from this point that Uhuru Kenyatta left a collapsing economy. To that we agree. But how then do we expect William Ruto to fix the same collapsing economy in 2 days after being sworn in? He needs to retreat, he needs to strategize, he needs to address the issues and diagnose where the problem was for him to be able to issue a lasting solution. For us, we've said, I'll not have a problem, Cedrick, buying fuel, petrol at 200 shillings for 6 months, then I get a lasting solution for the next 4 years. Other than me getting subsidy, having to pay taxes to cushion myself through the very tax that I'm paying, it amounts to me paying for a liter of petrol 250 shillings. But because they're trying to blind us and tell us that the government is paying 6.85 billion every month for subsidy, and they're coming to me increasing taxes on everything. So we have to come back and realize where the problem is. Stop the oil subsidy. Let me pay for the fuel for the next 2 months at 200 shillings per liter. But when it comes in the next 4 years, I'll be paying the same at 150 shillings. Let me pay for unga at 150 or 200 shillings now, but fertilizers are released to the farmers in the next 6 or 8 months after harvest. I'll be able to buy the same for the next 5 years at 120 or even 70. Where's the problem? Because we are used to shortcuts to the extent that when something long-term is introduced, we start fidgeting and creating unnecessary tension and inciting the public. Let us tell the public the truth. Fertilizers were released the other day on Tuesday. We cannot say farmers have already fertilized their crops and they harvested and want unga to be in the supermarket by Friday this week. It's not realistic. Let's tell the farmers fertilizers were reduced. We no longer pay 6,500, but in the next 4 months, after farmers will have harvested after producing at a lower cost, they definitely release these products to the market at a lower cost. Though that is the truth we need to tell our people.
Okay.
And not to tell our people that higher.
Thank you.
Serikali ya Mungu. And I'm taking an issue. I'm taking an issue where people are now turning and criticizing, even they're mocking God online and saying, ni serikali ya maombi. You see, for me, Cedrick, as a Christian, I have to defend my faith. Kuja na kuambia watu kwamba haya mtanipa unga 200 kwa kilo kwa sababu Mungu ataonekania maombi na nini. It is not fair. We are even mocking God. What if he stops giving us rain? What will we do?
Just a moment. My internet misbehaved before I answered whether Uncle Willie and Rigi are ready. Please allow me to just finish up on it.
Yes, you can proceed.
In a few. Yes, I'm very pleased with Mandela the way he's defending the Gachagua Ruto government. But now I can tell you for a fact that Uncle Willie, being the best of orators, one of the best orators that I know, can tell you a lot of very, very sweet things. But we are waiting. You think 100 days will not lapse? They will. 2, we must know that it's not like Kenya stopped so that swearing in can proceed. Then it now begins. It's not like Ruto is being given a very virgin land to now begin leadership. He is in the continuation of the former regime. So from his talk, from the sweet words that he gave us after the swearing in, he looks like he's ready. But I have a problem with the DP. The DP sounds like he's still in the political rallies there, and that's why I stated, and with much respect, that he's still in the political moods of attacking Uhuru left, right, and center. And now he's getting a very good assistance in Mandela, who thinks that rubies is the problem of oil shortage. No, we do know even the shareholders at the Starbucks. It's not like they're not benefiting from this. You should not feel like now it is all about rubies. If rubies are aligned along the Nairkuru Eldoret highway, that does not mean that now Starbucks are exempted. These guys are cousins. They really know what they want to do with us. That's why after subsidizing, during the subsidy, my good friend Mandela, did William, our president, resign from the former regime because he wasn't very happy about what was happening? Was he not part of the decision making that led to those subsidies? Was subsidy done only on rubies and not Starbucks? We have to be very truthful with ourselves, Mandela. Please, I'm telling you that the DP is not yet ready. He's still in politics. He still wants to politicize and be in a political rally even when they are Wagenis. But our president, he seems like he's somebody who can chapa kazi, but he must be reminded that Kenya did not stop for a few moments so that he's sworn in and now is coming into a very new land which has been corrupted and been taken to dogs, and now he's going to rectify these things. He's part and parcel of the mess and must be pointed out when we are talking about the failures of Uhuru, when we are talking about the cartels in the oil subsidy program, even as much as we want to identify such with Uhuru in terms of rubies, we must also remind ourselves of Starbucks International. Thank you.
Thank you, Evans, and I'll bring you in, Mheshimiwa, and as we finalize, because I can see time is very much not on our side. We have just a few minutes to conclude. As we finalize, I don't know if you have any response to what the two have said, and in addition to that, also tell us what are your prospects going into the future. Are you still in politics? And also as you respond to what the others have said, in case you want.
Thank you so much. First of all, Mandela is a very interesting person, and for some reason, it seems like the Hustler Nation is still in campaign mode. You see, right now, the king should reign from a place of rest. We have accepted him, or we are yet to accept him, because there's little we can do as Azimio people. But right now, Mheshimiwa Ruto is the president. And I want our friends like Kina Mandela to sit down. We know he's the president. He has the powers to now execute. Presidency, you guys, your campaign was around the Hustler Nation. And that's why I can partly call myself a hustler, because I don't come from those big families. Kenyans are not, you see, the issue of judges is not affecting our hustler. Actually, the real hustler, Mama Mboga, doesn't even understand the role of a judiciary. Some of them do not understand the importance of some of these things that you guys are talking about. The real hustler is interested about the basic things of life: food, shelter, and clothing. So when fuel is touched, that is touching the hustler directly. Mambo ya Ruby, watu wa Mama Mboga, they don't care, they don't know. Hata wengine wao, they don't know if mambo ya mboga ina mafuta kupandishwa bei is the reason as to why mboga zitapanda bei pia. So the real hustler ni mtu, kuna research niliona mahali kwamba as it is, Wakenya around 25 million wako na less than 50 bob kwa mfuko yao. Wakenya 25 million wako na less than 50 bob kwa mfuko wao. And these are the people who vote. These are the people who queue. And the hustler, congratulations Kwanza for coming up with a very good slogan that resonated with most of those people. But we need you guys to understand that the real hustler is concerned about food, shelter, and clothing. And that is where you guys should be focusing on. Sisi mahasla, unajua now, by virtue of being in this country, tumekuwa mahasla. Sisi tunangoja tuone bei ya unga imeshuka, tuone hustler fund. Mimi I want to apply for the hustler fund, at least nianze biashara yangu ya kupika viazi karai hapa in Taita Taveta County. Hapo sisi tunangoja free wifi, tunangoja free data, tunangoja watu wasitu record. Those are the issues that affect hustlers. Unaona, mambo ya judiciary inaweza isinigusa directly. Sisi mambo ya unga ndo inanigusa directly. Number two, ikikuja mambo ya you asked about my future prospects, but I'll come to that. What I can say is, as Azimio people, this is what I'll tell my fellow Azimio guys. I see a lot of unnecessary jokes around, especially around matters God. And I want to tell my friend Mandela here. Campaign zote sisi tuliambua watu sisi ni waganga na washirikina, and that is what Wakenya sasa wanasema hapana, mafuta imefika 300, jameni hiyo ni mapenzi ya Mungu. Because sisi we were told, sisi we were not part of agenda ya Mungu. And I want you guys to understand that Kenyans are hurting. So wewe ukiona mtu Azimio anafanya jokes zake, achana na yeye, because campaign period imeisha na sasa tunataka tu watu at least wa heal pole pole. It was not easy. Na wao wakikuja saidi ya Mungu is because we were associated with uganga, ushirikina, wale watu wa vitendawili, watu wa kukutana kwa mahoteli. Remember, that was the politics, and people have not moved on. Kwa hivyo watu wa Mungu, jameni, tunaomba mutuombee amani, tena mutuombee tukue na nguvu za kuhustle kabisa hii Kenya iende mbele. When it comes to our deputy president with Mheshimiwa Ruto, watu wa Azimio, I said somewhere that kitu itasaidia watu wa Azimio wa move on ama wa heal kidogo. Part of it is just knowing ni kumake ile serenity prayer. God grant me the strength, the strength to accept what I cannot change, because there's little that we can do at this particular point. And I even see most of our Azimio guys are praying that the government fails. I want to tell you this: we should be above that, because So you want it to fail, alafu useme si tuliwaambia. Remember at that time utakuwa unasema si tuliwaambia, wewe economy itakuwa bado iko chini, bado utakuwa umeishi in bitterness, kama ni kazi utakuwa haujapata. Kwa hivyo let us not wait for si tuliwaambia moment. Let us pray that the government works and we move on past pettiness. Then ikikuja mambo ya, my heart goes out to a lot of people who used a lot of resources, especially young people. Kuna watu niliona wako very bitter. People sold their cars, people sold their properties, wa campaign. Wengine hata walikuwa kwa UDA na walishindwa, wengine walikuwa kwa Azimio na walishindwa. I think moving forward, we are Kenyans. Sisi si watu wa UDA, sisi si watu wa Azimio. Moving on until such a time yenye we bring this conversation. One thing yenye tatusaidia kumove on ni uone ile jirani yako kama Mkenya mwenzako and not mtu wa UDA and not mtu wa Azimio. Because good news ni gani? Leo hii watu wako kwa mjengo, Wakalenjin wamekuwa kwa mjengo, Wajaluo wamekuwa kwa mjengo, Wakisii wamekuwa kwa mjengo, Wataita, Wagiriama. Kama ni kwa mjengo, kama wewe ni mtu wa mjengo on a daily basis, it did not matter sana which tribe ascended to power. It did not matter sana nani alikuwa president. Kama ni kulala njaa, najua sasa hii kuna Kemoi mahali, because life has become very hard, atalala njaa. So I think let's have that spirit even as we move forward, tukiona ni opportunities gani zatukujia. Moving forward, as far as my aspirations are concerned, I realize that leadership is, I'm given to community work. Right now naendelea na mradi wangu ule wa people living with disability. I used to donate wheelchairs here and there and kufanya capacity building with my fellow youths, tuone ni employment opportunities gani tutazafunguliana milango, and even to do the biashara. So for me, I had a very simple agenda, and I want to thank Taita Taveta for believing in me. And we had a slogan saying Dishame na Mashame. Actually, I can see some of them. I can see Don has tuned in. Yeah. One of those people who are really and some are following the conversation keenly. Yeah, thank you so much, Don. Those are people who believed in our vision, and it did not, for people like me, it goes beyond the ballot. So we will keep working to see that talanta za wanadatuzen zimejengwa. People living with disability. I had an advocacy model for teenage pregnancies that will continue. For me, community mentorship that I've been doing since those days when I was still in uni, we will continue with such. And my humble advice also to people who are thinking about 2027, I think as a people we have normalized destination addiction. We're waiting for the next thing, for the next thing, for the next thing. Simulana na glow. Right now I'm at peace because I have decided that I'll continue with the community work. By the time in Africa 2026, we will see if there's a gap and we feel it. But ukieka akili yako kwa constant, ukieka akili yako constantly inafikiria about siasa, what is the next thing, nitaishi na hii kitu lini, you will forget to live. Gachagua said something very important, much as speech yake, people were rating speech ya Mheshimiwa Gachagua, the deputy president, aliongelea about something that I think all of us should think about. Family. He said that family is everything, and when push came to shove, family was there for him. I think that is something that all Kenyans, I think that is something that sisi kama wa Kenya wote, we should focus our energy pia hapo, because governance inaanzaga kwa familia. And at least that is what I took from the deputy president. And Naruto to accept. Let us also congratulate sisi watu wa Azimio. We need to appreciate Mheshimiwa Ruto because of 3 things. Number 1, this guy has shown us that hard work, hata kama tunafikiria kura ziliibwa, hata kama zingeibwa 1 million for example, still we would have like 5 million Kenyans who said hustler tosha because of his hard work. He's not coming from a big family. He's not coming from it. He doesn't have a son named Musemeti who ni mtoto wa wale matajiri. He's coming from somewhere. As much as we want to joke around the
Thank you.
chicken selling, but we know Ruto is coming from nowhere, like most of us. So that should encourage people to say, unafaa ukwe mjanja, unafaa ukwe go-getter, unafaa ukwe hardworking. Sisi watu wa Azimio, at some point we were like, you know, we used to tuna exchange notes za watu wa UDA na watu wa Azimio. And at some point tulikuwa tunacheka Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi because he had really, you know, alikuwa amecut weight. And we were saying amecut weight because kwa hasa alikuwa anamshwa saa 9 wapange venye wanachukua hii kitu. So these guys sometimes didn't used to sleep. Yeah, so we should learn that. Yeah.
So Mandela, just briefly as we finish, I can see our time is past. Your final remarks na utuambie pia wewe uko na mpango ya kuingia siasa. Mandela. We've lost Mandela again. Your final remarks, Wakili Evans. Evans, if you can, okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you for this opportunity to speak to Kenyans and the young generation, the youth. I want to delimitate, I want to remove this thing from the people's minds of identity. This identifying with, I'm coming from somebody who doesn't have a name. I think we have to create a name for ourselves as a matter of right and as a matter of fact. Of course, most of us were born somewhere where we think, but that being that Ruto has made it, having not been a son of a vice president before or a president before, I think the categorization and the classification that comes in is because of the political players that are currently there. And it is a very dangerous route or path to take, because if that is the case, then we will be demonizing the likes of Vakina Nixon, Ruto, the likes of Vakina June. They might never have a voice to speak someday. Probably what is illegal today might never be illegal tomorrow. So we must, while walking on that path and appreciating that this guy actually, he went against both sons of the former president and the former vice president, we must also take keen interest and care not to head somewhere that we might never be able to walk away from.
Yes.
Another thing, for people who are pursuing political interests, whenever you go there, normally go knowing that you have lost, and winning should come as a surprise. It will help you heal so fast and move on. I've had so many friends of mine, including myself, it is normally very difficult times a week after just declaring that Raila has lost. It normally hits differently. It hits much worse than when you are left by a loved one or something. I don't know why. I don't know what that guy did to some of us. That guy has some very genuine supporters to the tune of 5 million plus. Yeah. Always, even if whenever he leaves that political scene, you can mock him, say, oh, this mzee na kadhalika is done. But if tomorrow Raila comes up and says that he's vying, I would vote him 1,000 times. So he has that support base, and it is very important. Thirdly, yes. And this I speak to myself and so many people who are still in the state of denial. Yes. Bill is our president. Rigi is our DP. Let us pray for them as the persons whom God has allowed to be in authority.
Yes.
That is the will of God. Whether it is the perfect will of God depends on who thinks what. Whether it is the will of God or just the perfect will of God, it depends on who stands in which position. But they are our leaders. If they fail, it will cost us more than if they succeed.
It will.
I pray for their success. I pray that they lead us well, and I pray that he also learns to give promises which he will keep. Even if he's given 1,000 years, we will never be calling free toll. No, we will never. Free internet, oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, oh, no. So there are certain things which are, of course, political statements, but which some of us take it so seriously, especially when it comes from somebody who is believed to be very, very much Christian, like he is.
Yeah.
3,
Yes.
I am a very, very, I'm very loyal to God. I respect God. I love God so much. And probably whatever people are talking about, because you see, I think there is a problem, and today Kigami tweeted about it. There is a problem about religionization of the state, or making everything look like it has something to do with religion. When writing those unanimous decision, and reading those despicable words, on the next day, we could hear our Honorable CJ saying that that decision was from above, it was from God. Oh, I have been prayed into victory. Oh, no, 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 no. We can't continue like this. There is a lot of religious fraud that is ongoing that we must speak against. We believe in God. We trust God. God allows things to happen, whether they're in his perfect will or not. But we cannot just be stealing and stealing and stealing in the name of the Lord. That is very wrong. Somebody just does their things. And that's why we were today speaking about, hey,
Yes.
we have hiked the tokens within the will of God, and everybody, and you think that that is blasphemy. No, everyone is speaking about God even when they are doing the worst. So let us pray to God that God guides them in this leadership, that they lead us well, and that everybody that has an ambition and trusts God, at some point they will make it. Mheshimiwa, I wish you well. If you have the ambition still, if the if there is still fire in you, 2027, do not shy away from going there. Baba has been called names, but he makes the best. Some of his decisions, when he's leaping to court, some of his decisions to leap to court and be made to feel like he is unworthy, has made us steps more ahead than any other states in terms of even making our institutions a working institution. Learn from the Raila Odinga case of 2017. It has made IBC to even do almost a perfect job, save for when Akina Cherera ran away and went to the knee to make those statements. It was so perfectly done that I even imagined, kwani tulileta tena nini ingine ya kutoka nje IBC. So thank you and have a lovely night.
Thank you.
Hoping to meet this place some other day. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
We hope we hope. Okay. We hope we shall be here some other time to continue with the discussion. And thank you very much for coming for this discussion. I don't know if Mandela, you can hear me so that you can give us your final remarks. Mandela, your connection has not been so good. Mandela. Okay, we don't seem to be getting Mandela. Mheshimiwa, you had one final word kindly before we go out.
Yeah. I think what Evans has said has really made a lot of sense, especially matters religiosity. We might not notice it now, but we might. All those statements that are being thrown out there by leaders might cause rebellion. You know, I believe in God. I know He is there, and so when we are trivializing Him like that, like it's God's will that the prices are down. It's God. I even saw it was very worst. May that person's soul rest in peace. There's a deputy governor that died somewhere yesterday, and I saw comments of, we want to know alikuwa mrengo gani, alikuwa udama, alikuwa Azimio. But we thank it God's work. I mean, like, and you can imagine what the family was feeling about that statement, especially if they were from UDA and your dad. People are saying it's okay that your dad died because he was in UDA and it was God's will. And for young people, for my generation, I can say most of us are youths. it starts with me and you. When they type, it's God's will, do you share those memes? Do you laugh at them? Do you rebuke them? Or do you give an alternative voice? I think this podcast is all about being an alternative voice. So maybe it's our responsibility to make sure that we keep talking to our people. But this radicalization of it's God will, it's God's will, it might come eating our generation. In fact, as it is you see this the Gengeton generation, our Mayengs, our already is very bad because most of them do not go to church. And I have seen conversations of people saying, we don't care about God, we don't care about church. And now God has been made as a trivial matter, and people can say, today I woke up late, it is God's will, because of how this other side made everyone feel. I even saw, unfortunately, I can see Oduor. I went to Rongo University. People from Nyanza were saying we are of lesser God, because that is what was being thrown out there. I think it's very unfortunate. We need each other as a country, but we need to start. You are the change. Let us not share those crazy memes of it is God's will, somebody has died. Let us stop. Let us move on with confidence. Let us pray that the government works, because it is doable. And yes, like we've said for Azimio guys, people should know that Raila Amolo Odinga is an enigma, and nothing can. There's no any other Raila Amolo Odinga in this country, and we honor him and we respect him. And this Sisi, as young generation, we've normalized the culture of dishonor. People should honor Raila and respect him. He deserves the respect. Actually, the reason as to why some of you are typing those things is because of freedom of speech that Raila fought for. Otherwise, let's move on with confidence. Now it's the Kana.
Asante sana.
Cedric.
Mandela.
Inawezekana.
I know I've been problematic, but allow me to defend myself. Now,
kindly,
number
you
one,
give us your final remarks, because we have overrun time. As you give us your final remarks and tell us if you are also getting into politics.
I'll be very brief.
Ask if we have more time to chat, so that maybe people have time, to continue with this conversation. You should find out that Oduor and Mandela.
First of all, I must say that Mheshimiwa needs to heal. She's still wounded, but we pray. Kwa mapenzi ya Mungu, you'll get grace and you'll be okay. Number two, Cedric, a political context. Cedric, in a political contest, in a democratic process, you approach an election knowing there shall be outcomes. There is never a tie in politics. You either win or lose. That's a democratic process. There is nothing like you can have a middle ground. You either go into election to win or lose. The same applies when you take a matter to court. You either support your case, defend your case, you win, or it will be dismissed. So you expect one of the two outcomes. So to this extent, I don't know why Kate and Evans like it would have been better if it were the Kenya Kwanza coalition that lost and not Azimio. I don't know why they're feeling like it would have been better even if they didn't have enough evidence for their petition to be upheld. In the first place, remember, Cedric, the last time we were together, I explained and I gave reasons as to why, even if we ended up having, we would have ended up having a rerun, right, have approached that election weaker than he was in the primary election. So he stood no chance of winning in the primary election or even in the rerun. Remember what had happened to all the independent members of parliament. Remember what had happened to some legislators from the Nyanza region. Remember what had happened from the Kisii region. So even if we were going to have a rerun, the outcome was almost certain that Baba will still be beaten. It's a man that you very respect. Even Oduor will tell you that.
No, Mandela, with due respect, I think you are the hustler that has been missing data bundles.
Mheshimiwa, kindly, if you can give him time, because it's winding up.
Hustler has not been having enough data bundles, so clearly he's not been following this conversation. And it's a very unfortunate situation.
I've paid for my internet. I don't use that. I pay for monthly internet. Only that I was using my laptop, which is stable.
Kindly, wind up, Mandela.
Yeah. So Kate needs to cool down. We understand she's very vibrant and she's very promising, and I'm sure in 2027, if she talks to me nicely, I can give a strategy on how she's going to win the next seat, and probably will meet in Parliament. Even as I proceed, what we ask Kenyans to be patient. Number one, that change does not come in a day, and change all the time is very painful. So what we are seeing right now is directions towards what we expect. Change is never comfortable. You have to feel the pinch before you move from your comfort zone. So the only thing that Kenyans need to know that every other person is feeling the pinch, and ultimately the solution that is coming that is going to be long term. Number two, when it comes to democratic processes and how we are going to move forward as a country, like I said, the reason why some people are hurting, like Kate there, is because this election ended and nobody has fought and nobody has lost a life, save for the 2 IEBC commissioners, ROs, returning officers who lost their lives. Nobody else has bleeded. No house has been touched. No vehicle has been burnt. No road has been closed. That is what is paining people like Kina Kate. Yeah. So to some extent, I tend to think that we've matured so that we can give people like Naket stage to learn that you approach an election expecting two of either outcome. If you win, the better. If you lose, you stay, learn, re-strategize, and approach the election so that you may be able to win next time. Number three, Cedric.
I'll have to give her some time later to respond. Kindly wind up, Mandela.
Yeah, in 30 seconds. William Ruto said when this subsidy program was being enrolled by government, William Ruto was part of the decision making, was on the decision making table, and he contributed. The fact is, and we all know, since 2018, William Ruto was denied access to all the state ministries. He had no access to all these functions. He could not, his voice was not listened to by the very government. So he had no say in what was being decided. He was sidelined. And if you were to apportion blame rightly, and it's on record, Babu having said, I'll advise Uhuru on this, I'll advise on Uhuru on this. So we need to rethink so that we don't bury our heads in sand and just face the reality and say, since 2018 to 2022, if Uhuru Kenyatta is to share blame, then the right person to share that blame with is Raila Odinga. Cedric, if as I conclude, this is what I'm saying. Today my internet has been shaky. I don't know, and you'll understand why I always do these things in the office. But I'm going to talk to the people who supply the net in our apartment to address the issue. But has been stable. So Kate should not say that I didn't have bundles. In fact, if I was to buy bundles,
thank you. You finished, Mandela.
So thank you so much, Cedric, for having me. Next time I'll have bought a new router and will understand much better. I need to meet Kate once more time so that I educate her, and I need to give her, I'll not sell to her, I'll give her a strategy free of charge on how to win election, because she understands the Hustler Nation swept the country clean, and the reason why they swept the country clean is because they could listen to advice. So the only thing I want Kate to go and think about before we meet next time is listen to advice, listen to wisdom, and then next time.
Cedric swept the country clean, changed its meaning. It changed its meaning when? Since when?
Thank you. I think you are mentioned. You are mentioned, Kate. Just in a few words. Respond in a few words before we end. Kindly.
But I understand Mandela. I understand Mandela because I think this is the first time he's seeing a very beautiful lady. So, so for Mandela, next time when you're coming for this conversation, please tell me in advance. I'll send you at least data bundles. You've been insisting that you have internet, but you've clearly not been following this conversation. Number two, as Azimio people would not have gained anything if life was lost, if people burnt tires. And that is the reason as to why we are like, if those guys, that is you see, this kind of the reasoning is what burns up a country. I will not benefit anything if somebody dies in the process of an election. I'll not benefit anything if a business has been burnt down. So for your information, Raila was voted by over 6 million people who trusted in his cause, no doubt. Ruto was also voted by people like you, no doubt. and we're not in a campaign mood. You see, people like you who keep justifying. Now we are even questioning if at all you guys won this election, because we have accepted that you won. But you want to keep insisting, we won. Did you really win, or there's more than meets the eye? So to you,
Thank
my
you.
brother, I wish all the best in your vibrance, but be a peace ambassador. Be a peace ambassador. Wewe umekosa bundles na Ruto amekuwa president. You see, we are still struggling with the same challenges. Yeah, so thank you, Mandela. I'll not come for your advice, but you definitely need to meet me for a good hug. Good night, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming for this conversation. It has been amazing, though we have had those little hitches. I think we will have a next time where we will have another conversation, maybe on a different topic. Thanks very much also for all who tuned into the discussion, and I hope to meet next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
It's Trends O'Clock. This is Trends KE with KK Cedrick.